Open the room.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Valley Economic Alliance's Next Level Growth Series and today's program, Valley Builds and Moves, public investment projects you can bid on and private contracting opportunities for the San Fernando Valley region. We have two phenomenal speakers today, Teresa LeFevre from Comerica and Michelle Quirante from Meriwether and Williams, who have some wonderful programs to share with us. Immediately following the presentation, we invite you to remain with us on the Zoom line because we're going to have a meeting of the Alliance's Economic Development Committee at 10:45, and they'll go to 11:30. And this Economic Development Committee helps the Alliance and our whole region to consider land use for economic development purposes, look at business assistance and how we can help companies grow and employers create more jobs, how we promote tourism and bring more vitality to our San Fernando Valley region. At the Economic Development Committee, we're going to have a presentation by the City of Los Angeles's Chief Procurement Officer, Shannon Hoppus, and she's going to talk about a new platform that's been revamped as a regional procurement platform. So that's going to be a very important presentation for you to take part of if you're interested in procurement and contracting. So the Valley Economic Alliance is, by the way, I'm Sonia Blake and I'm president of the Valley Economic Alliance. Our alliance has been in existence for 27 years and we've been helping the San Fernando Valley region to develop economically and prosperous citizens and helping job seekers to connect with job opportunities and job training to increase their earning potential, creating opportunities for employers, particularly micro businesses, to grow and create new jobs. And so we're super excited about the work that we've been doing and the partnerships and collaborations our alliance has been forging in order to increase revenues, help companies to increase revenues, decrease expenses, connect with qualified employees, find commercial real estate that will help them to grow and support good paying jobs. So if you are interested in doing that, we have many, many programs that we can help you to build your business, and you'll learn more about that at thevalley.net/events. I'd really like to thank David Betancourt and Comerica Bank for helping us to put together this program because it's so very important a topic, procurement and contracting. Now, this is a subject where many businesses have tried to navigate, and it can be a very complex terrain. But as many businesses have found, it can be very lucrative and very helpful for them in terms of growing their businesses exponentially. So what is it? Procurement and contracting. It's this whole space whereby companies can do business with government agencies, large and small, and major corporations so that you can grow your business if you are in services or construction or other types of industries, and you'll hear more about that very soon. There are many, many opportunities in the San Fernando Valley and in the whole Los Angeles County and Southern California for businesses that are located here. And we want to make sure that Valley businesses get their fair share of the procurement pie, so to speak. And so we're bringing you some resources and information and contacts so that you can go ahead and successfully bid on contracts, know how to estimate, get your bonding and your insurance, be able to go through the process successfully with support so that you can build your business, create more jobs, help the Valley to thrive. So with that, I'd very much like to introduce our first speaker for today, Teresa LeFevre. And Teresa is the Vice President and Manager of Supplier Diversity for Comerica Bank. And as Vice President, she really facilitates how the bank utilizes diverse suppliers to provide goods and services for the bank. So that could be small businesses, minority-owned, women-owned. She'll tell us all about it. She interfaces with a lot of different suppliers and really understands how they can most effectively navigate through this process, at least at the bank. And this is a great example of a best practice at other private corporations that you may encounter and want to do business with. So Teresa's been working in this space since 1995 and started with Ford Motor Company. And she's been working with various other companies, but she joined Comerica in 2010. So she's got her bachelor's in business from Wayne State University in Detroit, Michigan, her master's, her MBA from University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, and she's gone through professional training in supplier diversity. She's really a great authority on the topic. And I'm so thankful, Teresa, that you joined us today, because I'm really looking forward to your insights and comments. So with that, I pass it over to Teresa LeFevre.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me today. It's a pleasure to be here. Let me get this straightened out here so it looks a little nicer for you. Hopefully you can see that screen now.
Beautiful.
Great. Well, thanks everybody. Like I said, it's a pleasure to be here. My name is Teresa LeFevre. I'm the Supplier Diversity Manager for Comerica Bank. I've been with the bank for about 11 years now, but a lot of me is still really just an automotive girl. So I grew up in the automotive industry. Those are my roots. I'm still learning banking after 11 years, but supplier diversity, I feel like I kind of have most of that pretty down pat. So we'll go through some of the basics of that today and talk about Comerica's program, and just more in general. If you don't meet the qualifications for a supplier diversity program, I'm still going to talk a little bit about it just in general, how Comerica's procurement process works, and maybe give you some insights that might still be useful to you. And then we'll have time for Q&A as well. So basically, we're going to cover supplier diversity, our sourcing process, and then I'm going to share with you a little insight as to what does Comerica Bank buy? What kinds of things do we procure? So for us, supplier diversity is really an integral part of our business practice. It has a lot of strengths, provides us a lot of strengths in just diversifying the supply base overall. As a matter of fact, I met with our CEO just last week, and I asked him why supplier diversity was important to him. And he said, whether or not
So sorry, Teresa, we lost your audio. If you wouldn't mind unmuting.
There we go. I don't know what happened there, but okay. So as I was saying, I met with our CEO a couple of weeks ago, and he said that to him, having a diverse supply base is critically important. He does not want to just do business with a few very large corporations. He thinks that diverse supply bases bring a lot of strength, a lot of innovation, and it also allows Comerica to be a part of economic development in all of the communities where we live and work. So it's a commitment that starts right from the top of the house. Our supplier diversity program specifically recognizes companies that are at least 51% or more owned by ethnic minorities, women, veterans, LGBT people, disabled people. Did I say veterans? And women, of course. So it's a pretty standard menu of diverse categories. We added the veterans and the LGBT community in 2013 just to make sure that we were covering all the bases. So the first question I have for you all is, are you a certified diverse owned business? And I think Sonia can throw the polling question up there for me real quick, and just to get a flavor of who's out there in the audience. And while she's doing that, I think I can keep going. Great. So certification, why am I asking that question? So for us, when we get asked about our supplier diversity program, we want to make sure that we are really giving a verifiable and auditable, as in we're a bank, auditable response. And so certification really helps us know for sure that we are really dealing with with minority-owned or women-owned or veteran-owned businesses, and not companies who have, put a figurehead maybe on the board, but somebody who doesn't really run the organization. So we don't have the staff to really go in and do that deep digging ourselves into the supply base. So we really rely on our certification partners like the National Minority Supplier Development Council, the Women's Business Enterprise National Council, the National Veterans Business Council. and all of those organizations to really make sure that our supply base is certified diverse owned. And there we have our result. Okay, so almost half and half. Fantastic. So hopefully if you meet the qualifications for certification, it's something that you'll consider, because I think you'll find a lot of organizations interested in having certified diverse owned suppliers. Great. All right, so one thing I always make clear both internally and externally whenever I'm presenting on our supplier diversity program is that it's not a free ticket. We require and expect all of the great products and services and competitive pricing from our diverse suppliers as we do from the rest of our supply base. We have very high standards. We are very relationship based. We like to treat our suppliers as partners, and we expect all of the great, like I said, products and services from diverse suppliers as we do for our other suppliers. I mentioned earlier that our CEO is very committed to our supplier diversity program, and we do have his statement out on the website, but our program has many components that just starts with the commitment from the top. We have a supplier diversity advisory committee, which is all internal, but it's made up of members of the management team from every division of the bank. So we meet quarterly, and I keep them up to date on everything that we're doing, and I ask for their advice and guidance to make sure that our program is meeting their needs, as well as what they see the bank needs for diverse suppliers. We have regional folks like David who are out in every market where we serve. So in case you have a question or a concern that has to be handled locally, we have folks like David Betancourt who are there to help connect you internally with the right folks. We have a goal setting and reporting system. I'll talk more about that in a minute. We've got senior management all the way up to the CEO level and his direct reports. They have a supplier diversity component on their executive scorecards. So they're measured quarterly on how the bank is doing to meet this metric. We have a second tier initiative, which means that we go out to our largest supplier partners who are not diverse, who might be large corporations, and we ask them to join us in the commitment to supplier diversity and to report to us on a quarterly basis on what they're doing with diverse suppliers in their communities. And so we try to make sure that, that we're having that economic impact down through the tiers. We have a supplier diversity referral tracking system. So, we're a bank, and I like to use our supplier diversity program as a mechanism for a lot of our bankers to meet new and growing and successful diverse owned businesses that we want as clients. So we see that as another component of our program. We do a lot of outreach. I do a lot of things like this where I get to meet great people out in lots of different places all over the country. We go to trade fairs, conferences, matchmakers. I sit on a couple of different boards for advocacy organizations, committees that are planning events. So we just try to be out there and accessible so that, we're meeting different businesses at every opportunity that we can. So our supplier diversity program kind of went under an overhaul in early 2020. Unfortunately, I did not see what was coming later in 2020. So my overhaul kind of took a little backseat, but I'm still able behind the scenes to really follow kind of these 4 pillars that we established for our supplier diversity program. It's based on engagement, inclusion, selection, and cultivation. And so on the engagement piece, as you can imagine, that's going out there and meeting folks and engaging with diverse suppliers and learning about what capabilities are really out there. The inclusion piece is making sure that we're including diverse suppliers in our bid opportunities. And then the selection piece, we're tracking those awards, making sure that we're trying to grow that spend year over year. And then cultivation, as I mentioned, we're really a relationship-based bank, and we take that through to the supply base. And for those diverse suppliers that we already have, that we're already working with, we want to cultivate those relationships. We want to help them grow their capacity, grow their relationship with us. So in the engagement piece, this is just an example of some of the things we did in 2020 and 2021, both virtually and to a much lesser extent in person where we can. We participate in a lot of national conferences and trade shows. And then we also try to do more focused events like this one with very focused audiences. All right, so this is the meat of it. What is our sourcing process? So a little bit about Comerica. If you're not very familiar with us, we're what's considered a regional bank. We're about 95 billion, just shy of 95 billion in assets as of September 30th. I haven't updated this from our latest yet. So we are growing. We have 3 different segments in the bank, the commercial bank, the retail bank, and then wealth management. talked about our tracking system. So what we instituted in probably about 2019, we instituted a new project tracking system for all of our sourcing projects. And what we built into that system is a milestone that says, have you considered a diverse supplier for this project? Yes or no? And so I have to sign off on every single project that goes through this process to say either, yes, we looked for a diverse supplier, or no, I wasn't given the opportunity to look for a diverse supplier. And I'm happy to say that we've grown to the point where as of 2022, the objective for diversity inclusion is 100%. If I have a project that is going to be competitively bid and there are diverse suppliers that do whatever that is that we are bidding, 100% of the projects like that must include at least one diverse supplier. So to me, that's a huge step towards a best-in-class practice. And then over on the left corner of the chart here, you can see a sample of our quarterly reports. Our management team and several levels down get these reports every quarter. How are we doing by division, by market, by diversity designation, by category within the bank? We kind of slice it and dice it every way we can to try and get as much meaningful information out of it to help us grow. So the sourcing process itself, this is a complicated slide, I know, but it's a complicated process. So we have category and management planning where we do all the pre-work. We have opportunity assessments and initiation. And this is kind of the piece where we can start sliding in new suppliers that we might meet and introduce to the end user team so that they can get familiar with what those suppliers do and comfortable with them enough to include them in an RFP. We have sourcing and category strategies. We have sourcing and value confirmation, and then final negotiation and contracting. So it is a long process. A lot of our sourcing projects can take up to 3 to 6 months to go from start to finish. But it's very thorough, and we want to make sure that we're being fair to everyone and we're making decisions based on facts and providing fair and accurate competition. So new suppliers, little box there, before we even establish a new relationship, we have to determine if there's an opportunity. We have to establish a non-disclosure agreement, and then we have to establish a master agreement if you are chosen for the award. So there's some legal implications. You have to make sure that you have, legal support ready to help you review contracts. One thing to keep in mind, if you're thinking about doing business with a larger corporation, we're not very flexible. So if we've got a standard contract template in place, we're expecting you to sign up to that standard contract template. So these are things you have to keep in mind when you're considering, taking your business to that next level and working with larger corporations. All right, what do we buy? And polling question number 2. So,
okay, wonderful. Let's get polling question number 2 going.
So this is just to tell me who I'm talking to as far as what kinds of businesses are out in the audience today. Who does what?
I'm going to launch that poll now. And also we have, this is our 5-minute mark, by the way, also Teresa.
Perfect. I'm just about done. Perfect. I see there are a couple of things in the chat. Are any of those for me? Do I need to know those?
Let me check. I don't see chat for now. I think there's nothing there for you to.
Okay, perfect. I'll take a double. So I make sure I'm not ignoring anybody. I know we're going to have time for Q&A, so.
Absolutely. I see we have about 75% of people have participated in the poll. If anyone else would like to participate, go ahead and log your answer now.
Awesome. So while you're doing that, just a little bit about what we buy. Really shouldn't surprise anybody that the majority of our spend is mainly in technology. I mean, everything we do is driven by technology, right? Everything from how, especially nowadays, how we take the money in. Oh, let's see. So we have professional services, 26%, facilities and construction, 37, great. Technology, 11, fantastic, and marketing, 7, and other, awesome, great. So it fits right in here. Another large piece is real estate because we do have a large physical footprint. So we do a lot of refurbs, refreshes, landscaping, maintenance, anything that you can imagine that goes around that physical footprint. On the technology side, it really kind of runs the gamut from, we do use just some standard temporary staffing services all the way to we're really looking for, who's going to take us to that cutting edge next level of fintech, right? In the banking side. The industry is just blowing up on the technology side, and we need to make sure we have the right partners in place to keep up. Some of the other basic things like legal services or training services for colleagues. We have almost 8,000 colleagues. So there's a lot that goes into supporting that level of human capital. So we buy a lot in that area as well. And then just to finish up on my slides, I want to make sure we have time for Q&A. There are some contacts here. Sonia, you have the presentation. Anybody that wants it, they can send you an email and get a copy. There's nothing confidential in here. These are the emails for the folks that lead these major categories. So if you see exactly where your business fits and exactly who this is, you can go directly to them. I would request that you come to me just so I know, especially if you're a diverse supplier, so that I can help kind of pave the way and kind of watch your progress and help if there's anything that I can do. But I wanted to make sure you have the contact information. And then you can register on our website, www.comerica.com, and just type supplier in the search bar and it'll take you to an option for our supplier diversity program. You can see my supplier diversity page and there's a registration option at the bottom. One thing you should do before you start talking to us, make sure you have a handy dandy capabilities presentation, short and sweet. I don't want 32 slides. If you can do it in under 5, fantastic. Sharing success stories, particularly in similar industries with whoever you're talking to, is always helpful. And that's really it. So I am ready to take questions.
Oh, wonderful, Teresa. Thank you. Thank you. You know, we're going to hold questions to the end because there may be some things that will be answered in the next presentation or whatever would have you. But wow, thank you for that great information. It's great to see all that you're doing and how accessible the team is to help companies to grow and work through the process. So we're going to circle back with you, Teresa, with some questions.
Great. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And at this time, I'd like to introduce our next presenter, Michelle Quirante, Senior Account Manager at Meriwether & Williams. And Michelle is going to talk. So we heard about the private sector side of procurement and contracting. Wonderful presentation. And now we're going to hear about the public sector. You know, there's all kinds of building and investment and public funding that's going into procurement and contracting. So how, you know, do we navigate that in the San Fernando Valley region? And Michelle has some answers about that. So Michelle has been with Meriwether & Williams since about 2015, and she's got over 15 years of experience in the construction industry. So a lot of this, what the government does is they build. So a lot of this is going to be centered on building, but it's not exclusively that. So as an account manager for the LA Regional Contractor Development and Bonding Program, Michelle provides small, local, and diverse businesses with step-by-step guidance in their development and technical support to help them be successful in public agency contracting. So I'd love to have Michelle share with us right now what's going on, what's being built in the Valley, how can companies bid on those and get your help being successful. Michelle Quirante.
Good morning, Sonia. Thank you so much for having me here. I appreciate the platform to be able to share all the upcoming opportunities in the San Fernando Valley, as well as give you information on the resource available to you so that you can position yourself to be able to bid the opportunities. So just want to make sure, you guys, do you see my screen?
Yes, looks
okay,
great.
Perfect. Okay. So once again, my name is Michelle Quirante. I'm with Meriwether & Williams, and we administer the Los Angeles Regional Contractor Development and Bonding Program, which is actually sponsored by the City of LA, the County of Los Angeles, and Metro. So a bit of an overview about our company. We are a full service property and casualty insurance brokerage firm. We offer insurance that's dedicated to construction and OCIP practice. We have a couple of specialty programs we call Sparta and Prompt Cover. And bonding and technical assistance programs is primarily what we have here in LA that I'll be covering in the second part of this presentation. Our offices are located in San Francisco, Oakland, and in Los Angeles, and we are also a small woman minority-owned firm. So I'm here just to provide you an overview of upcoming opportunities. The next 3 or 4 slides you'll see will really give you an idea of what is coming down the pipeline in the next 12 months, 12 to 24 months, basically. It provides you an overview of all the contract dollars that will be at work. So it's a lot of information to capture, but it's going to be my segue, the segue to the second part of my presentation. I will be covering each council district just to give you an idea of the upcoming opportunities so that you can, be prepared and kind of have it in your mind to be motivated to start bidding if you aren't already bidding. So I've broken this down into the 4 council districts within the Valley. We're going to go over the first one with Council District 2 with Mr. Paul Krikorian. I hope you can see this okay, but you will have these slides available to you. So you'll see what's available in these slides after this presentation. So currently, if you look at this slide, over the course of the next 3 to 9 months, we're looking at about $50 million in upcoming opportunities, within bridges and sidewalks and street repair, sewer, water quality and stormwater. And over the course of the next 12 months, you're looking at $165.8 million in contract dollars. That is opportunities coming down the pipeline. So overall upcoming, we're looking at $218.6 million just in Council District 2 alone. And moving forward to Council District 3 with Mr. Blumenfield, we're looking at an upcoming $80 million in opportunities. That's bridges and sidewalk repair, water quality and storm sewers. It looks like there's going to be recreational facilities that will need to be repaired as well. So this gives you an idea just in District 3 alone of $80 million. And actually, if you're interested in hearing more about Mr. Blumenfield's opportunities, we do have a council district workshop coming up this afternoon from 3:30 to 5. That is a virtual workshop that I can share information on in the chat after I do my presentation if you're interested in attending. And Mr. Blumenfield will go over more in detail what the opportunities are. And as you can see here in Ms. Ramon's Council District 4, we have $229 million in opportunities coming down the pipeline. I mean, it's just a robust list of sidewalk repair projects, water quality, every type of scope you can think of. There's a lot of subcontracting opportunities within these opportunities. And last but not least, Council District 5, Mr. Paul Koritz. As you can see, it's about $87 million coming down the pipeline. Currently, there's about $4.6 million already at work. It looks like at the Recreation Center, Cheviot Hills, Westwood Greenway. So that kind of gives you an idea of everything this is just in the next year alone. So I just wanted to have these slides here so you can understand what is happening within the Valley, all of the different opportunities, not only for the prime contractors. I mean, I know these dollars, it looks like a lot of multi-million-dollar projects, and you would think it's only designated to prime contractors. And I just want to inform you, these projects are with the City of Los Angeles Public Works. City of LA has participation goals. So they are not just seeking large primes to bid on their projects. They are looking for those large primes to be responsible and get small business inclusivity into their projects. So there is opportunities available for our small business community, which is leading me to my next part of my presentation. So if you saw, all the opportunities here and you're interested in bidding, you've never bid before, you're not sure where to start, that's what this program is about. Or if you're actively bidding and you just actually need just a little bit more support so that you can successfully be able to complete a project with the agencies that we work with. This takes me into the Los Angeles Regional Contractor Development and Bonding Program. So our program, like I mentioned, is sponsored by the city, the county, and Metro. And what we're here to do is support these agencies' objectives of getting small, local and diverse businesses on board and making sure that they're successful from the time they're bidding to project completion. So our purpose and mission basically is to reduce the barriers of bonding and the capacity and enabling the success and participation of our small, local, minority, women, and disabled veteran-owned businesses, and enable you guys to participate in the public contracting opportunities that I just went through. And here is a list of the services we provide, and it's not limited to this. We have to keep it little, small for this presentation, but the program really has a vast amount of services. So what we do with the program is we help you obtain or increase your current bonding capacity. So that is a requirement to do business with a public agency. If you currently have your bonding in place, we can help you increase that so you're able to access more projects with these agencies. And within the program, we have what we call our capacity building and technical services. Now, that is a list of services that we provide that is one-on-one and technical, so that you can position yourself, like I mentioned, to do business with public agencies. So whether that's, getting your certifications in place, helping you navigate through the agency's portal to make sure that you're getting the right information regarding the scope of work that you do and matching you up to those projects so that you can be able to participate and bid on those solicitations. We also have what we call our contract-based financing assistance programs, which actually just unfolded recently. And what this is a financing program that if you have current contract with the city, metro, or county, and you are in need of capital for that project, we actually utilize that contract as collateral to enable you to have funding for the project that has very small business friendly rates and will help you take off, on the project without having to use your own capital. And when you're enrolled into the program, you're actually assigned to a dedicated account manager such as myself, and we help you with your business development. So that's a dedicated account manager to kind of assess your company and help you start the process and see what level you're at and what your capacity is so that we can guide you and recommend which path to choose first in order to complete the goals that you have for your company. We also have agency collateral support. So in the event that your current bonding is tied up on another project or you're trying to bid larger projects with these agencies, there's collateral support available to you. And an accounting cost subsidy. So if you're trying to increase your current bonding capacity or obtain your current bonding and your broker's requesting for you to provide CPA prepared financial statements, which can be quite costly for some companies depending on how many years you've been in business. As an enrolled contractor in the program, you have a one-time subsidy of $3,200 to help offset that cost. So that's one of the benefits of the program that what these agencies are providing to our contractors. And most importantly, the weekly bid opportunities. This is a very important distribution we have every week, which covers all of the contracting opportunities with these agencies, as well as a lot of other partnerships with the agencies that we work with that's not with the city, county, or metro, as well as trainings and events. So very informative, more tools to help your company just keep everything in one place and have one resource to go to in order to access all of these public contracting opportunities. And just a little bit more of an overview of what's provided within the technical assistance. When you're assigned an account manager, we actually develop a work plan for you. This is a working document with our recommendations of what we think you should be doing next in order to position yourself to start to get ready to be able to bid on City of LA, County, and Metro projects. We also offer a contractor profile. So this was mentioned earlier. If you don't have a capability statement, it's an important marketing tool for your company so that when you're outreaching or networking with prime contractors or public agencies, they're able to see exactly what it is that your company does and what they can provide. So we create this contractor profile for you just so you can have that tool when you're networking. We help you with certifications as well as the bid document review. This is an important part of our program. We actually have helped quite a bit of contractors get on a lot of pre-qualified lists with the city of Los Angeles because we were able to complete a bid documentation review just to ensure that they're maintaining compliance with the agency's requirements. So it's kind of a second set of eyes before submitting your proposal. We have various monthly workshops and trainings. Like I mentioned, we have one this afternoon. We have a labor compliance and prevailing wage training actually next week for those that are interested. Ms. Sonia is advertising that, or I believe is being promoted on the Valley Economic Alliance's website. So if you want information on that, please let me know. These trainings are very important to us and very important to the small business community. We have a couple of academies actually during the year. It's a couple of cohorts that cover just strictly bidding and estimating for about 6 to 7 weeks, as well as contract award and management. And these are training academies that just focus and dive deep into those subjects to really provide a lot of detailed information to our contractors so that you can successfully bid and manage your contracts once you have them with these agencies. And that's kind of a segue into the Prime Partnership Program. So currently we're partnered in this program with large prime contractors such as Hensel Phelps, McCarthy Construction, PCL Construction, Webcor Construction, and those are just a few of them. And what they actually do for us is they teach the training academies. So these prime contractors send their senior estimators, their senior project managers, and they come out each week and teach the sessions so that we're able to gain their professional knowledge directly from the prime contractors and mentor our small business community. So that's a very important part of our program. And within the Prime Partnership as well, we actually provide contractors or information to our contractors, to our primes when they're seeking inclusivity on their public or private projects. So a lot of relationship building, a lot of mentoring that's associated with this program. You know, if you're interested, if I saw that there was 36% of facilities and construction in attendance today, so it's really the right audience for this information. And, you know, I'm here to inform you that this resource is available to you. It's no cost. It's been successful for about 14 years. So, you know, if you're interested in enrolling, our information will be provided to you on this presentation. And if there's any questions, I believe we're gonna get to that right now. So thank you again, Ms. Sonia, for having me here today. And I'm really grateful that I was able to share this information with the contractors in the Valley.
Oh my goodness, fantastic. Thank you so much, Michelle. A great presentation, really fantastic information. And we are going to get to Q&A, so let's do that. But first, I want to share with you all a procurement guide that we have put together at the Alliance, and it does have some great information, evergreen information on the process of procurement and contracting, so you can kind of get that context if that is something where you are. Some ways to get ready, how to know your ideal client that you might want to seek out, some of the various sources of technical assistance available, information on certification. There are some bidding preferences for companies that get certified sometimes. And of course, we heard from two wonderful authorities on the topic. There are federal, of course, state, county, and then local, as well as private folks that you can be in touch with as well. So a whole wealth of information. This is the information so you can remember who spoke today. And then this is some information about the program that Michelle was talking about, as well as another program for manufacturers. One of our partners, CMTC, has to help you get in the supply chain. After this session at 10:45, I encourage you to stay on with us, and we'll hear from Shannon Hoppes from the City of Los Angeles about RAMP, which is another wonderful program. And then there, on the back of this guide, there are some seminars that are happening into the future. And I think Michelle mentioned one. I'm not sure that we have that brochure here. We popped it out on our email, but it looks like it didn't make it into the book. So Michelle, if you have that handy, or I'll pop it in the chat. But Michelle and Teresa, awesome presentations. Please do share your contact information, any supplier links that people can register at Comerica.com, directions for that. will be fantastic. So with that, let's see if I'm looking at the chat. I don't see questions there, but for Teresa, just want to ask you, once people are entered into your supplier database, your diverse supplier database, or the broader supplier database, it's great being in the mix so that you can find them, and they have to put in their capability statement. So that was something that really did come out. So I want to emphasize that. Once they do that, how do they really kind of like distinguish themselves and come out of the database into relationship? So many times folks enter into various databases, and then they don't then connect the dots and parlay that into actual business. So do you have any particular tips that you can share about how to turn that profile in the database into an actual contract with an actual purchase decision maker?
Boy, that would be the magic sauce, wouldn't it? If I had that, whew, I'd be set for life. But just what I try to tell people is, yes, put your information in the database, but understand that a lot of the databases work as pull systems, right? So the only time that your information will go anywhere is if somebody goes in and searches for something that somehow identifies you, right? And then it'll pull your information. I am Comerica's push system. So if you send your information directly to me, I can then, do the analysis on it, figure out where it belongs in the organization, who the right next contact person is for you to have that introductory conversation, or to try and figure out if there is a match between your capabilities and our needs, and to carry on that next conversation or that next step of building a relationship. So I really like to ask people to just please, make sure that you're touching base with me and giving me the information that I need to really serve as an advocate for you within Comerica's system.
That's awesome. It's so important. And that's a principle, broadly speaking. It's important to have an advocate and build the relationships, as was said earlier. Building those relationships is so key. And in our last couple of minutes, I want to direct a question to Michelle. And Michelle, you presented some great opportunities of what's being built in the region and some opportunities there and how you can help, which is fantastic. There's a lot of information for construction companies, which is great because we did have quite a few construction companies here on the call, which is great. We also had professional services, marketing, other technology, IT, others. What do you suggest is there a corollary or a complementary program for folks who are not construction related? We had some that were listed in our procurement guide, but just your tips for what do you do with non-construction related companies, if anything, or who do you refer people to when they're not in construction?
So we actually have some contractors or professional service firms and IT firms within our database. Not necessarily all construction. So there is parts of the program that can assist those firms that's not construction related. We definitely can help direct them if they don't need to take advantage of bonding, because bonding is not a requirement for professional or IT service firms. We don't necessarily need to assist them with that, but you are more than welcome to speak with me if you're a non-construction firm, and we can help direct you with the next steps of what we feel you should do, because the city of LA, County of Los Angeles, and Metro, they're not just construction related. They don't just advertise those opportunities for construction firms. So we're able to provide guidance to get on their portals, as well as their certifications process, as well as provide you with a capability statement, which will help you when trying to promote yourself to the agencies.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, that is great. We are at perfect timing. It's 10:44, and we are bringing our next level growth webinar program to a close, and we'll be opening our Economic Development Committee program in just a moment. But in the meantime, I would very much just like to thank our speakers, Teresa LeFevre and Michelle Quirante, for your wonderful presentations. It was just marvelous to hear about these great resources that you bring. I also want to encourage people to stay with us for the next presentation. Our Economic Development Committee will be featuring our next speaker, Shannon Hoppus from the City of Los Angeles, and we'll be discussing how we can build our region through procurement and contracting. I want to encourage people to join us for our subsequent events. So I'm putting in the chat now our event link, thevalley.net/events, and that's where you can learn about our next event. For example, next Thursday, we're holding a sustainability forum. So you'll be able to learn all about how you can operate more sustainably and reduce your costs and expenses by doing so. So thank you for joining us today. I hope you will stay on for economic development. We're going to go ahead and conclude this recording and restart our recording for our Economic Development Committee at this time.